Hi everyone, it's Lindsay. I am here today to share with you this coffee inspired card that I made with Joy Clair Stamps. Now, during this past new release, Joy Clair did release a few more coffee inspired stamps. I'm going to be using that stamp set today. It is called Christmas Coffee. I love it. I've already used it before. I will link that video in the top right hand corner if you want to see how I layer up the stamps. But today I'm actually going to be doing no line coloring with my colored pencils for my card today. Now this card is for the Fall Coffee Lovers blog hop, and I will have all the information for that over on my blog. At the end of this video, you'll see a link directly to that blog post, so you don't have to go and scroll through and find what I'm talking about. But you'll find all the information on this stamp set, the Fall Coffee Lovers blog hop, and also Joy Clair Stamps is having a sale while this is going on. So there are several sets that you can get for 25% off. You'll find the coupon code, which is with 3 M's, MMM coffee. So all you need to do is write that whenever you check out in the promo code box, and you'll get 25% off of those coffee inspired sets that are in that picture. Now, really quick, I want to show or share with you what I'm doing, and then I'll go more into other things Joy Clair Stamps is offering during the Fall Coffee Lovers blog hop. So I'm stamping 3 cups. I only needed 1 mask to do this, so I stamped that cup first. I'm using Antique Linen Distress ink. This is a very light ink. You don't need to use this. You can use any sort of light ink you have. I also like Desert Sand from Memento. It's in a little dewdrop form that I have. I like to use that for my no-line coloring as well. Or you can just do second generation stamping, say with a brown ink, and you'll get the same look. So use what you have on hand to do this technique. Now for my coloring, I am using 3 different colors here. I've stamped 3 cups. Like I said, 1 in the center, 1 on the left-hand side, and 1 on the right-hand side. One thing I will say very quickly, when you are stamping a scene like this and you're putting objects behind other objects, like I'm doing with the coffee cups, whenever you stamp objects behind them, you need to raise them up the paper, just a tidbit, not drastically or anything like that, but you can see when I've stamped those cups behind the first one, they are slightly above where I stamped that first one. That's just how your eye is going to perceive another object is behind the first one. Then I'm just going to color these up very simply. I like to do no line coloring where I start off with my darkest and I kind of outline those points where I know it's going to be darkest. Then I come in with my middle tone, and that's kind of where I fill in a lot of the object here. And then I use my lightest color to kind of go in and add those highlights. Now, whenever I was first starting out coloring this, I just planned on doing the coloring with my colored pencils. However, as I was going through this, I was trying to get my pencil lines out, and most of the time I like my pencil lines in my coloring. It doesn't bother me so much. But with something like this where it's a coffee cup and I know the texture of a coffee cup is normally smooth, I just wasn't happy with it. So I decided to bring in my Gamsol. I have this odorless terpenoid. You just need odorless mineral spirits. This is a big bottle I've had for years, and I'm still going through it. Now, they do have nice little bottles of it where you can just kind of press your paper stump into the top of it. You don't need a huge bottle like this. I just use it a lot, so I have a huge bottle of it, and it's what I first bought. I also have a little glass container that I put mine in. This is from when I was in cosmetology school. I have that just left over from that. It is basically for your little, when you're doing acrylics on nails, you can probably pick one of these up like at a beauty supply store. Pretty easy to find. Now, I like to blend mine out with paper blending stumps. However, I have seen people use paintbrushes, which is a really neat thing to watch. I'm not that talented, but these paper stumps you can pick up at your local crafting store probably, or you can buy them online many places, and I buy the big packs of them. And then to get off any color that is left over, I just use an emery board. They do have special paper sanders that you can get. I just use my emery boards. Again, I was in cosmetology school years ago, and I have a ton of emery boards just laying around left over from those days. So whenever I go about doing this with my odorless mineral spirits, I just dip my blending stump in, bring it over to my paper, and use little circular motions to blend it out. This is going to get rid of any of those lines. It's also going to help me build up color. Whenever I use my colored pencils, with my Prismacolor pencils, they are a wax-based pencil, and sometimes it gets to the point where I lay down so much color that I have a hard time getting any more color on top of that. I guess it's called a wax bloom, but I find that once I blend this out, I can just go in and lay down more color and more color and more color, and it never becomes a problem for me. And I never really do more than 2 or 3 layers, so this allows me to really blend out those colors, get rid of those pencil lines when I want to. It just helps me in the long run. So back into the information about the blog hop. During the Coffee Loving Card Makers Fall Blog Hop, you can link up any card that you make that is coffee inspired and fall inspired. I will leave that link in the description box below. It is a lot of fun to be a part of this. Cards always get a lot of love that you enter, and there are some really great super sponsors that offer prizes to be had whenever you link up a card. Now also, Joy Clair Stamps, like I said before, is offering 25% off of the coffee inspired sets. That will be over on my blog, where you'll find that link to the list of the stamps that you can purchase for 25% off, and also that code is over there as well. Now, another thing that Joy Clair Stamps is doing is the design team has all linked up, and also on the Joy Clair Stamps blog, there are all the designers' links. If you go through those links and you leave a comment on all the designers' blogs, Joy Clair Stamps is giving away another 2 $25 gift cards. And like I said before, I will leave a link down to that Joy Clair Stamps blog post in the description box below. Then all you need to do is go there. You can click on each designer's link. That will take you to their direct blog post, not just their blog, so you don't have to do any searching. Leave a comment, and then you are entered into the $25 gift card drawing, which is awesome. And you do have until the 22nd, which is when the Coffee Lovers Blog Hop is over, to go ahead and leave those comments, and also to link up a card on the Coffee Loving Card Makers Blog Hop. Now, that was a whole lot of information. Back to the card. So I am using some fall inspired colors here. I started out with some purples, some very dark purples, and now I'm going into a deeper brown tone. Then I love mustard yellow, and I love fall time, so this is one of my favorite colors to use during the fall. So I'm starting out with a very dark mustard yellow, and then I just come in after I've kind of outlined those darkest places. I fill in quite a bit of that object with my lighter color, and then I come in with my very lightest and just add a nice little highlight area. Now I'm bringing in my blending stump, I blend that out, and then I come back in again and do another layer to really deepen up those colors, add more shading. I even brought a little bit of that lightest brown that I used on that coffee cup. It kind of blends in with that yellow very nice. I added even more of a little bit of shading to that. Now, once I had all of my coffee cups colored, I decided to come in and do a little bit of grounding effect on these cups. Now, I decided halfway through I was going to do color in around the tops of the cups as well. I don't want to say a sky because it's not really a sky, but I wanted to do some coloring around the top of the cups. But once I kind of stood back and looked at the ground that I created, I was like, you know what? You need to quit while you're ahead and just leave it alone. So I did. I listened to myself this time. It doesn't always happen like that. But for the bottom, underneath the cups, I'm using some cool grays. Around the tops, I was going to use the French grays. I love my Prismacolor pencils. I waited years to get them. I used the Crayola and Crazy Art ones first. For years, I used those and really started practicing with those. The Prismacolor pencils have quite a few grays in them, so I am able to color in like little animals and things like that and use those different tones of grays, which really opens up a lot of possibilities. With that grounding effect done though, it was time to go ahead and stamp the top little steam things that I had going on the top of my cups. So in the Christmas coffee stamp set, there is that little steam that I just showed you off to the side. But I wanted to add my sentiment over the top of the middle cup. Now in that Coffee Quotes stamp set, there is this sentiment that reads, "You had me at coffee." And I love that sentiment, but it's really that little scroll type of thing underneath it. I thought it looked more like a little steam that could be perceived as a steam. So I stamped that over the third cup, and that's going to be my steam coming out of that cup. And then I'm going to use the same ink that I used to stamp that sentiment on my steams on the other two cups, but I wanted them to blend in and be a little bit lighter, but the same tone. So I just did second generation stamping. I stamped it off on a scrap piece of paper and then stamped it down over the top of each cup. So it's the same tone as the sentiment. It blends in very well. However, it's a little bit lighter, so it doesn't take away from that sentiment at all. And I really love the way that turned out. When that was finished though, that card was done. I wanted to create a true one-layered card today. That's what I set out to do, so that's what I did. That finishes it off for today. I'm going to leave you guys with a few pictures of the finished card. So on the left side of your screen, you'll see some links you could click on, but that bottom left is going to take you to my blog post for this blog hop, where you'll find all the Joy Clair Stamps information, as well as all the links to the blogs and the blog hop as well. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and happy crafting.